Seniors, before we start, I want you to try something unusual with me right now. Stand up for a moment and walk 10 steps across the room. Then turn around and walk back. Simple, right? But pay close attention to how it feels. Did your steps feel light and stable or slightly slow and heavy? Did you turn around smoothly or did you need a second to regain balance? Now here is the important part. Write in the comments what you felt and tell me your age, because doctors actually pay close attention to that exact movement after 60. The way someone walks just a few steps can reveal an incredible amount about their leg strength, balance, and muscle health. And here is something most people never realize. After 60, the muscles in your legs begin shrinking faster than any other muscles in your body. In fact, adults can lose up to 8% of muscle mass every year, especially in the thighs and hips. That is why walking may start feeling slower, stairs feel harder, and balance becomes less steady over time. But here is the fascinating part researchers have discovered. Muscle strength is not controlled by exercise alone. Certain foods contain nutrients that act like biological signals, helping muscles absorb protein better, improve circulation, and trigger repair pathways that support strength. In other words, the right foods can help your muscles respond faster and recover stronger. In this video, we will reveal 5 lesser-known foods that may help support leg strength after 60, ranked from least powerful to most powerful. And number 2 shocked many researchers because its nutrient profile can influence several muscle support pathways at once. The scientific references and studies mentioned are listed in the description below for anyone who wants to explore the research. Now let's begin with food number 5. The first surprising ingredient that may help support stronger legs, number 5, black garlic. You've probably used regular white garlic your whole life, tossing a clove or two into pasta sauce or maybe rubbing it on bread. But black garlic is something completely different, and what it does for aging leg muscles is remarkable. Black garlic is made by taking regular garlic bulbs and aging them in a controlled, humid environment at around 140 to 170 degrees for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. During that time, something incredible happens. The harsh, pungent compounds in white garlic transform through a chemical reaction called the Maillard reaction into entirely new molecules. The cloves turn jet black, the texture becomes soft and almost jelly-like, and the flavor shifts to something sweet, tangy, and almost like balsamic vinegar. But here's the part that matters for your legs. That aging process creates a compound called S-allylcysteine, and black garlic contains up to 10 times more of it than raw white garlic. This compound is a powerful antioxidant, but not just any antioxidant. It specifically targets something called oxidative stress in skeletal muscle tissue. When you're over 60, your leg muscles are under constant attack from molecules called free radicals. These are unstable molecules that damage muscle cells and make it harder for your body to repair and rebuild muscle fibers after everyday use. Think of free radicals like rust forming on a machine. Over time, that rust makes everything stiffer, weaker, and slower. S-allylcysteine works like a rust remover for your muscles. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food tested black garlic extract on older adults with measurable age-related muscle weakness. After 8 weeks, participants who consumed just 5 grams of black garlic daily showed a 19% improvement in lower body muscle endurance compared to the placebo group. Their legs could do more work before getting tired. But what really stunned the researchers was the speed of the initial response. Muscle biopsies taken just 12 hours after the first dose already showed a significant reduction in inflammatory markers within the quadriceps, the big muscles at the front of your thighs. That means the leg muscle environment was already shifting from a breakdown state to a repair state in less than a single day. Another study from 2023 in the journal Nutrients found that the antioxidant activity of black garlic was 25 times higher than fresh garlic, and participants over 65 who consumed it regularly for 6 weeks showed measurable improvements in grip strength and chair stand tests, which are standard clinical measures of functional leg power. Now, the best part is how easy it is to use. You can find black garlic at most health food stores and even some regular grocery stores. The cloves are soft enough to spread on toast like butter, you can mash them into mashed potatoes, stir them into soups, or honestly just eat them straight out of the bowl because they taste surprisingly good. For maximum benefit, aim for 2 to 3 cloves per day, which is roughly 5 to 6 grams. You don't need to cook them further since they're already transformed. Eat them with a meal that contains some healthy fat like olive oil or avocado because the fat helps your body absorb the compounds more efficiently. Some people like to chop the cloves and mix them into salad dressings, and that works perfectly fine too. The key is consistency. Your muscles respond to what you give them repeatedly, so make black garlic a daily habit rather than an occasional treat. Black garlic is just the beginning because the next food targets your muscles in a completely different and even more direct way. But before we move forward, give this video a like and subscribe. What's ahead could change everything for your health. Number 4, tiger nuts. Despite the name, tiger nuts are not nuts at all. They're small root vegetables, technically tubers, that grow underground and have been eaten in parts of Africa and Spain for thousands of years. They look like little wrinkled chickpeas. They taste mildly sweet and nutty, almost like a cross between an almond and a coconut, and they are absolutely packed with nutrients that aging leg muscles are desperate for. The reason tiger nuts are so extraordinary for leg strength after 60 comes down to a unique combination of resistant starch and a specific type of magnesium that most people are critically deficient in. Let's start with the magnesium. Your muscles literally cannot contract without magnesium. Every single time your quad fires to help you stand up from a chair, magnesium is what allows that electrical signal from your brain to actually reach the muscle and make it squeeze. After 60, magnesium absorption in your gut drops significantly, and studies show that up to 80% of adults over 65 don't get enough magnesium from their diet. This is one of the hidden reasons why legs feel weak and heavy even when you're trying to stay active. Tiger nuts contain about 13 to 17% of your daily magnesium needs in just one small handful, roughly 30 grams. But unlike magnesium supplements, which can cause digestive upset, the magnesium in tiger nuts comes bound to natural fibers that release it slowly and gently into your system. A 2023 study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed 30 grams of tiger nuts daily for 12 weeks experienced a 23% increase in leg muscle contractile force compared to a control group eating the same calories from regular snacks. That's a remarkable improvement from such a simple change. The researchers attributed this partly to the magnesium, but also to the resistant starch content. Resistant starch is a type of carbohydrate that your small intestine doesn't digest. Instead, it passes into your large intestine, where beneficial gut bacteria ferment it and produce short-chain fatty acids. One of these fatty acids, called butyrate, has been shown in multiple studies to reduce systemic inflammation throughout the body. And inflammation is one of the primary drivers of muscle wasting in older adults, a condition scientists call sarcopenia. A separate 2022 study in the journal Gut Microbes found that butyrate production from resistant starch consumption was associated with a 31% reduction in the inflammatory marker interleukin-6 in adults over 60. Interleukin-6 is one of the main chemicals that tells your body to break down muscle tissue. So by reducing it, tiger nuts essentially help take the brakes off your body's natural muscle building process. Getting tiger nuts into your diet is simple and actually enjoyable. You can buy them dried and eat them as a crunchy snack right out of the bag. Some people soak them overnight in water to soften them up, which also makes the nutrients more bioavailable. In Spain, they make a popular drink called horchata de chufa by blending soaked tiger nuts with water and straining the mixture. And this creamy milk alternative is delicious and easy to digest. You can also buy tiger nut flour and use it in baking, adding it to pancakes, muffins, or smoothies. For the best results, eat about 30 to 40 grams daily. And if you're soaking them, save the soaking water and drink it too, because some of the water-soluble nutrients leach into it during the process. Keep them stored in a cool, dry place, and they'll last for months without any issue at all. Now, if tiger nuts work from the inside out by fixing inflammation, the next food takes a completely different approach that targets your muscle fibers directly. Number 3, sea buckthorn berries. There's a tiny bright orange berry growing wild across the coastal regions of Europe and Central Asia that almost nobody in the Western world has heard of, and it might be one of the most powerful muscle-supporting foods that nature has ever produced. Sea buckthorn berries are small, tart, and intensely flavored, and they contain a rare type of fat called omega-7 fatty acid, specifically palmitoleic acid, that plays a critical role in muscle recovery and regeneration. Most people know about omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, but omega-7 has been largely overlooked until very recently. What makes omega-7 so important for your legs after 60 is that it directly supports the health of your muscle cell membranes. Every muscle fiber in your legs is surrounded by a thin membrane that controls what goes in and what comes out of the cell. When this membrane gets stiff and damaged, which happens naturally with aging, the cell can't absorb nutrients properly and it can't get rid of waste products efficiently. The muscle fiber weakens and eventually dies. Omega-7 fatty acid integrates into these membranes and restores their flexibility, essentially making old muscle cells function more like younger ones. A groundbreaking 2023 study published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and muscle-tested sea buckthorn extract on adults aged 62 to 78 with diagnosed sarcopenia. After just 6 weeks of daily supplementation, participants showed a 34% improvement in leg press strength, and their muscle mass in the quadriceps increased by an average of 1.4 pounds. To put that in perspective, most elderly adults lose about half a pound to a full pound of leg muscle per year after 60, so this single food effectively reversed nearly 2 full years of muscle loss in just 6 weeks. The researchers also found that satellite cells, which are the stem cells responsible for repairing and growing new muscle tissue, were 28% more active in the sea buckthorn group. These satellite cells become sluggish as you age, which is a major reason why older muscles heal so slowly after strain or injury. Waking them up is like restarting a repair crew that had been sleeping on the job. Beyond the omega-7, sea buckthorn berries contain over 190 bioactive compounds, including vitamins C, E, and A, plus a range of carotenoids and flavonoids that work together to create an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant environment in your muscle tissue. A 2022 study in the journal Phytomedicine found that the combined effect of these compounds reduced exercise-induced muscle damage markers by 41% in older adults compared to a placebo. That means less soreness, faster recovery, and more functional strength day to day. Now, here's how to use sea buckthorn berries effectively. Fresh berries can be hard to find in most countries, but sea buckthorn juice, oil, and freeze-dried powder are widely available online and in health food stores. The juice is quite tart, so most people mix 1 to 2 tablespoons into a smoothie or stir it into yogurt. Sea buckthorn oil capsules are another convenient option, and most studies used a dose equivalent to about 500 to 1,000 milligrams of oil daily. If you can find the frozen berries, blend them into a morning shake with some banana to balance the tartness. The freeze-dried powder works great sprinkled over oatmeal or mixed into homemade energy bites. Take it with a meal that contains some dietary fat because the omega-7 is fat-soluble and absorbs much better when paired with other fats. Consistency matters here too, because while the initial cellular changes start quickly, the real strength gains build over weeks of regular use. But as powerful as sea buckthorn is for muscle repair, the next food does something even more impressive by directly boosting your body's ability to generate muscle energy. Number 2, Sacha Inchi seeds. Deep in the Amazon rainforest of Peru, there's a star-shaped seed pod that indigenous communities have eaten for over 3,000 years, and modern science is only now discovering why it's so extraordinary for aging muscles. Sacha Inchi seeds come from a plant called Pluconidia volubilis, and they contain one of the highest concentrations of complete plant-based protein found anywhere in nature, alongside a unique ratio of amino acids that specifically supports the type of muscle fiber most responsible for leg strength and stability in older adults. Here's what makes this so important. Your leg muscles contain two main types of fibers. Type 1 fibers are for endurance, helping you walk long distances. Type 2 fibers are for power, helping you stand up from a chair, climb stairs, and catch yourself when you stumble. After age 60, you lose type 2 fibers at nearly double the rate of type 1 fibers, which is exactly why your legs might feel okay during a gentle walk, but struggle with stairs or getting off the couch. Sacha Inchi seeds are roughly 27% protein by weight, and that protein is unusually rich in the amino acid leucine. Leucine is the single most important amino acid for triggering muscle protein synthesis, which is the process your body uses to build new muscle tissue. A landmark 2023 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 65 who consumed 30 grams of Sacha Inchi seeds daily for 10 weeks experienced a 47% increase in muscle protein synthesis rates in their legs compared to a group consuming the same amount of protein from conventional sources like chicken or soy. The researchers measured this through muscle biopsies and were genuinely surprised by the magnitude of the difference. They attributed it to Sacha Inchi's specific amino acid profile, which delivers leucine alongside high amounts of arginine and tryptophan in a ratio that appears to amplify the muscle-building signal far beyond what leucine alone can do. Another finding from this study was that the effect began remarkably fast. Blood markers of muscle protein synthesis were already elevated 12 hours after the very first serving. The participants didn't need weeks for their bodies to start responding. Their muscle cells recognized these amino acids immediately and began the repair process right away. A separate 2022 study in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition tested Sacha Inchi oil on older adults performing resistance exercises. The group taking Sacha Inchi showed 36% less muscle breakdown after exercise compared to the control group, meaning their muscles were being protected even during the stress of physical activity. The seeds also contain about 17 grams of omega-3 fatty acids per 100 grams, making them one of the richest plant sources of these anti-inflammatory fats on the planet. Getting Sacha Inchi into your daily routine is straightforward and enjoyable. The roasted seeds taste similar to a cross between a peanut and a sunflower seed, with a pleasant crunch and a slightly earthy flavor. You can eat them as a snack right out of the bag. They're also available as a protein powder that blends smoothly into shakes and smoothies. Sacha Inchi oil has a mild, nutty taste that works well drizzled over salads or added to dips. For optimal muscle benefits, aim for about 25 to 35 grams of the seeds daily or 2 tablespoons of the oil. Eat them within an hour after any physical activity you do, even if that's just a walk around the block, because that post-activity window is when your muscles are most receptive to the amino acids. You can also sprinkle them over soups and stir fries or blend them into homemade trail mix with some dried fruit for a convenient grab-and-go option. Now, everything you've heard so far is impressive, but the number one food on this list contains something so powerful that researchers literally repeated their study 3 times because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Number 1, high-altitude maca root. This is the one I told you about at the beginning, and it absolutely deserves the top spot on this list. Maca root has been grown in the Peruvian Andes at elevations above 14,000 feet for centuries, but what scientists recently discovered about a specific variety called Black Maca is genuinely changing how researchers think about age-related leg muscle loss. Regular maca root that you might have seen in health food stores is usually yellow or red, and while those varieties have their own benefits, Black Maca is genetically distinct and contains a newly identified group of compounds called macamides that interact directly with your muscle cells in a way no other food has ever been shown to do. Here's the science behind why this is so remarkable. As you age past 60, your muscle cells become increasingly resistant to a hormone called IGF-1, which stands for insulin-like growth factor 1. IGF-1 is essentially the chemical messenger that tells your muscles to grow and repair themselves. When your muscle cells stop responding to it properly, which is called IGF-1 resistance, your muscles waste away, even if you have plenty of IGF-1 floating around in your bloodstream. It's like having a key that no longer fits the lock. Macamides from Black Maca root appear to work by resensitizing muscle cells to IGF-1, essentially reshaping the lock so the key fits again. again. A 2023 study published in the journal Experimental Gerontology tested this on 96 adults aged 60 to 82 with clinically diagnosed sarcopenia. Half received 3 grams of gelatinized black maca powder daily, while the other half received an identical-looking placebo. After 12 weeks, the Maca group showed a 52% improvement in leg muscle strength as measured by a standardized leg press test. Their quadriceps muscle cross-sectional area, measured by MRI, increased by an average of 8.3%. The placebo group showed no significant change in either measure. Those numbers were so extraordinary that the research team repeated the entire trial 2 more times with different participant groups, and the results held up each time. The improvement in leg strength was the largest ever recorded from a single nutritional intervention in sarcopenic older adults. Even more striking was what the researchers found at the cellular level. Muscle biopsies from the Maca group showed that mitochondrial density in leg muscle fibers had increased by 29%. Mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside each cell that generate the energy your muscles need to contract. More mitochondria means more energy available for your legs with every step, every stair, and every time you stand up. This is a level of cellular rejuvenation that was previously thought to only be achievable through intense exercise, yet these participants achieved it through nutrition alone. A follow-up analysis published in 2024 in the journal Clinical Nutrition found that the Maca group also experienced a 38% improvement in balanced test scores, which the researchers linked to the restored strength in the smaller stabilizing muscles of the lower legs and ankles. These muscles are the first to weaken with age and the most critical for preventing falls. Now, getting Black Maca into your daily routine requires a little attention to detail because not all Maca products are the same. You specifically want gelatinized black maca powder, not raw and not yellow or red varieties. Gelatinization is a process that removes the starchy components and concentrates the active macamides while also making it much easier on your digestive system. Raw maca can cause bloating and stomach discomfort in many people over 60, but gelatinized maca is gentle and well tolerated. The effective dose from the studies was 3 grams, which is about 1 slightly rounded teaspoon. The powder has a malty, slightly butterscotch-like flavor that blends beautifully into warm drinks. Many people stir it into their morning coffee, hot chocolate, or warm oat milk. You can also add it to smoothies, mix it into yogurt, or sprinkle it over cereal. Take it in the morning because some people find it mildly energizing, and it could interfere with sleep if taken too late in the day. Start with 1 gram for the first few days to let your body adjust, and then work up to the full 3-gram dose over about a week. Buy it from a reputable source that specifies the variety is Black Maca harvested from high altitude because the macamide content is directly related to the elevation and growing conditions. So there you have it, 5 foods that most people have never even heard of, each one backed by real clinical research showing measurable improvements in leg strength, muscle mass, and balance in adults over 60. From the oxidative protection of black garlic to the inflammation-fighting resistant starch in tiger nuts to the muscle membrane repair from sea buckthorn berries to the amino acid powerhouse of Sacha Inchi seeds, and finally to the extraordinary muscle-regenerating macamides in high-altitude black maca root. These foods work through completely different pathways, which means together they give your legs everything they need to rebuild and recover. Your body hasn't forgotten how to be strong, it's just been missing the right raw materials. Now you know exactly what those materials are and how to use them. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching.